Welcome to this month's edition of the Community Office Hours. We have a cool, pretty topic for you today. And so we're joined by Vineet to show us some UI changes on the Account Hub. You know Monica and myself as your hosts. Vineet is a front-end engineer, right?
Yeah, senior
And
software.
there we go. Thank you. And yeah, cool person to work with. And he has some really nice visual changes to kind of show us and talk about today. So, Vineet, do you want to tell us a little bit more about what you do, or?
Yeah, for sure. I joined MZLA and the Thunderbird team on May 2023, and I joined the front end team and have been working with the team for the past 2.5 years and started the Account Hub process about, I think, a year ago almost, a little over a year ago. It's been an ongoing thing. We got designers on the team and things changed and we started working with processes and things changed. And then we finally got going. And yeah, I'm really excited to show it off today. So this is Account Hub. It's a new way to do account setup in Thunderbird. Currently, the email setup is the only one available for users on beta, but you'll get to see and hear more about the rest of the account setup in the presentation. We'll start off with the account setup analysis. The analysis started before I started working on Account Hub. The account setup is actually one of our least complained about features, which is surprising because it does not look great. It does what it's intended to do. And so people really haven't had much issues with that. So when trying to come up with a better way to present an account setup, we wanted to make sure that we didn't mess with the things that already work. So that was a big part of the process when building out the designs and the mock-ups of Account Hub. So for the analysis, when it was first being discussed, a big thing was that a lot of email client competitors present you with a sort of wizard slash like immediately account setup flow so you don't interact with the app until you create an account to prevent confusion and stuff. But with Thunderbird, you open the app for the first time and you get a couple of tabs like a browser, and that you can close, and then you are just kind of left in no man's land. So we really wanted to get rid of that browser-like experience and kind of makes things more familiar for people who use email clients. Yeah, and like the big issues were a lot of users were closing the account setup tab. And if you try and set up different types of accounts in Thunderbird, they all look and act very different in their mail wizards. So that wasn't the best, and we wanted to find a way to align everything and make everything flow smoothly and seem like one cohesive account setup. So we went ahead with Account Hub, the solution. So we wanted to provide a unified creation and account setup. Having a one area consistent user flow for every type of account just provides a cleaner, more consistent experience, and it gives us a chance. It gave us a chance to freshen up what users might see on their first interaction with the app or whenever they needed to add another account. And with that, we use the modal slash dialogue instead of using the old browser tab setup because it prevents users from the first time from escaping out and messing with the app and then getting lost, because that we just want users to jump in, type in their email, set up, and then just get going. And this was the first step towards that. So, and yeah, it looks fancy and nice and shiny and clean.
Very clean and modern. I'm curious, there's an X in the top right corner. So can the user just like close out of it without going through it? And then what happens?
So that X only shows up if you already have an account created on Thunderbird.
Gotcha. Okay.
Or have created an account before. Yeah. So like if you like, we don't want people to open up Account Hub on their second account and be like, oh, now I have to create another account. So it gives you the option to close it.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and yeah, it's really exciting. We took a lot of the same functionality from the current account setup. We're doing a little bit of work with the backend team too to make sure when Exchange is ready, it'll be good to go on an Account Hub as well, which is really exciting. But yeah, I'm super stoked to show it off and show all the work I've done. So yeah, you can give it a try. It's on beta. You can only use it for additional emails right now as we're trying to get users to test it out and see if there's any bugs or issues. And once we kind of realize like things are okay, we'll probably switch it on for um, new users for first time account setup. So that'll probably be coming in the coming months. Um, and additionally, we're doing work on address book and calendar setup, account setups now. Designs
Mm.
have been done for address book, and the work will be starting on that fairly soon. And then right after that, calendar setup will be the next step. Yeah, it's all very exciting. You keep up with the progress on Topic Box if you're interested. Yeah.
Real quick, so you said that it's available for testing right now for adding new accounts.
Mhm.
So if I, install daily and first time user, I would be presented with the old experience to set up my first account. And then when
Yeah.
I wanted to add a second account, I would be presented with this experience.
Yep, that's right. So
Okay.
once you go to account setup on the settings page, after you've created your first account and you click new account, mail account, you'll be presented with Account Hub.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And it's
Nice.
also really nice that this has landed in beta because I know that some people get a little bit anxious about running daily. And in beta is what I use just for everyday work, and it's great. So I'll have to, yeah, to go ahead and add this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I believe it's on beta. If not, it'll be in this month's uplift. But yeah.
nice.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So by
I
the
just like the
time you're
purple icon.
watching this,
Yeah,
by the time you're
right.
watching this, it will be out on beta. So because this will probably air like beginning of April. So
Yeah, very cool. Very cool.
Sweet. And yeah, and then I just wanted to talk about the team who helped me work on it. I was the sort of the de facto lead on the project, but I couldn't have done it with the rest of the team. Micah, who's no longer with the company, was a big part of the design process, as well as Solange. Alessandro, he's the one that started the whole analysis before I started working on it, and he kind of has been my guide to make sure things are getting done the right way, getting like code getting pushed, getting into discussions about designs and all that good fun stuff. And then Laurel as well. This was the first big desktop design project for
mm,
Thunderbird. And so there was a lot of back and forth, getting to understand how to work together in sync with like a new design team. So that was really fun, and both Alessandro and Laurel were really, really on top of things to help get things going. Martin was sort of a mentor slash like technical lead on this because he's this like super genius and always has the right answer to everything. And then Sue joined the team recently, jumped on to help get a few patches through as well. And then Toby, who is my manager, definitely just kept things running, kept things smooth, and got it ready to be out for the public to use. So
Yeah, very
that's
cool.
that's it for my presentation. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Those pictures were very nice. Out of curiosity, in the existing experience, when you set up a new account, there's that picture of the octopus with like scissors. Do you
Right.
know what that's about? Because octopus isn't really our
it's very
animal.
bird. I know octopi, they have beaks, or it
They do
doesn't
have
just.
beaks. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, that's a
But
pretty weak link.
yeah, yeah.
I'm ready to just chalk that up as as the explanation. I'm fine with that because I don't.
Fair, okay. Huh. Today I learned octopi have beaks.
Yeah.
So those pictures were great. Do you want to show us like a little demo of
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
actual flow?
Definitely. I will share my screen. So I am on daily right now. Can you see?
Yeah, there's the octopus
There's the
that
octopus.
notably does not have a beak.
Yeah, it's hidden. It's a hidden beak.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna go account settings, new mail account. Boom, account hub there, ready to go. I'm gonna just use my personal email here. Um, with with your sort of Gmail accounts and OAuth, when you go through the process, you are going to see a modal to enter your like information on Google or wherever you use your email provider. But since I've been using Daily as a testing interface, the app sort of stores that for me already. So you're not going to see the OAuth modal, but on your first run, you would usually see that.
Okay.
So you just enter your email, hit continue, and then you're presented with your configuration options. You can pick either one. IMAP is the configuration option I usually go to. Hit continue. So at this point, you'd be presented with an OAuth modal before you get to this screen.
Okay.
Right.
So we make sure everything's authenticated just like it was before. And then you're presented with your options for adding address books and calendars. You can pick whichever ones you like. I'm not going to do that because it gets annoying after a while trying to delete those when testing. Yeah, I'll just deselect all and then you just hit continue and boom, you're there. So that's one part of the account setup.
Oh,
If I go finish, or I just maybe another account here, let's say the Thunderbird account. It's loading, it's looking up the configuration. Again, very similar. In the old account setup, you can click do a manual setup here, and that's what the edit configuration button is for.
nice.
So you can move back and forth between these options to test your incoming and outgoing server settings.
Nice.
Yeah, and then if you want to just if you're unsure about your settings and you want to just create the account even though the settings might be wrong, you can fiddle with them later. This gives you that option. Yeah. And then continuing through that, you should see the same thing, the calendars and address books, and then the finish screen.
On the finish screen, I saw when you did it last that there was like an end-to-end encryption link there that I
Yeah, and the HTML signature thing. That was really cool.
See, I'm just going to delete this account really quick and go through with my personal email again. As you can see, once you go through the OAuth model and everything, in the usual sense, you'll see that your account behind is already created. And so this now you're just additionally adding your address books and calendars. So these are links to docs, like the Thunderbird
Okay.
docs.
Oh, the KB articles. Okay.
Gotcha. That's great.
And then of course we have our support and donate links if you want to if you need
Yay.
support and you want to donate.
Yeah. And what's nice is that, they're small, they're unobtrusive. We're not like, like doing any like dark patterns or things like that. It's just like, here's information. That's really cool.
Yeah. And like a lot of work was done to do dark mode too, which
Thank you.
the design team did a really good job and it just looks like really
Ooh,
sleek and nice. And so
Oh
I
man,
want to point
that's
that out.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
that purple blue in dark mode is just,
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah. Oh, I like the blue like shadow on the like behind the window itself too.
Yeah, but there was a lot
Yeah.
of little things added to the design just to like make it feel a little bit nicer for that first interaction for new users, which is again big props to the design team.
Yeah, I
Yep.
can see Micah's touches here.
All right,
Yeah,
that's
that's great. Wow, awesome. Thank you
Yeah.
for that. It's really nice to see such beautiful UI changes continuing. So we're gonna ask you some questions, hopefully not too difficult, but and some of these you might have, started to answer, but a little bit in more detail, what kind of prompted the whole account setup redesign? I mean, you said it wasn't terribly complained about, so
yeah.
what really initiated this work?
Yeah, it was just the decision to move away from, the old setup that just existed because it existed as a part of Thunderbird and using like Firefox's infrastructure and stuff like that. And it just felt like there were too many things to see on a screen when you first go onto Thunderbird and when you close like I said earlier, when you close it, you might not know how to get back, and then there's different options and it just doesn't feel like it kind of just hits you in the face with you're like, okay, I guess I'm just setting up my email now, maybe. So I think Account Hub the design and the work done on it just gives us an opportunity to present a really like simple, cohesive flow for new users to interact with, and a pleasant view, of course, a nice shiny view that really represents the direction I think the UI is going to be going with Thunderbird with all of our changes that are being worked on. So yeah, it's definitely a good addition and a good way to interact with new users who might be familiar with other email clients, but not really with Thunderbird. So
Nice, nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I know that my next question, we kind of answered part of it in that what would happen if you accidentally closed the setup window before and how that could be frustrating. And kind of we wanted to ask like how is that kind of more graceful, more intuitive now, especially for people who are totally new to Thunderbird, like who've never tried this before or it's been ages.
yeah. I mean, I think I think when Account Hub gets going as the initial view for new users,
Mhm.
um, it's just going to be straightforward in your face. Enter your email and your name. That's it. Like you don't have to think about anything else. Just enter your email and your name, hit next, enter your password, set up your calendar. It's with one complete flow before you interact with anything else in the app. You're just ready to go and use Thunderbird. So.
So you're not able to like, exit out if it's a first time user experience, but what happens if they are in the middle of that and their computer dies and then
Um,
they bring it back up. So if it's still like Thunderbird crashes because
mhm.
the system died, like how does it gracefully handle that situation?
So it will only so I think when we do the changeover for when the dialogue will be the first thing you see, obviously the system will check if there's an account on Thunderbird, which it does
Mhm.
now. As if you load Thunderbird, if there's no account, it'll show you the account setup page, and that'll be the same with this. So if your app crashes, which they don't usually do,
I know it's a corner
uh,
case.
but if your app does crash or your power cuts out or something like that on your PC and your account hasn't been set up yet, as soon as you open Thunderbird, you're back to the first screen. And it's, as you saw from
Okay.
the demo, it's very quick, very easy to get through. If your app crashes after you've created the account and you're on the calendar address book page, you unfortunately
Yeah.
won't see the Account Hub modal anymore, but you'll be directed to your email setup. And from there, you can see on the side panel of a Thunderbird, just you can manually set up your calendar and address book.
Gotcha. That's nice.
Okay.
So my next question is mostly based on the current experience and my own like personal annoyances because I've used Thunderbird for a long time and since joining I've tested with it a lot. And whenever you set up a new email, you put in your name, your email address, and there's a place to put in the password as well. But as soon as you put in the email address, it's Thunderbird checks this like database in the back end to see if that domain is recognized if it is, then it will prompt you to go enter your, username and password in the modal for like Gmail or whatever. But you
Yeah.
could still enter your password there. So I would always enter my password twice and it was very annoying.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
I
I've definitely been the same as soon as I started with Thunderbird until I realized, okay, I don't really need to do this, but it's not obvious. You're right. It's not
not
obvious
obvious.
for anyone going to use a new email client. It would make sense to email password, right? But I think the great thing about Account Hub now is that we push the password stage much later, only when it's required. So
Mm.
with accounts like Gmail, you won't ever see that password stage because you don't need it, right? You use your
Yeah,
OAuth to sign in the
and
account.
that's great.
But for your normal email that uses basic password auth, and yeah, you'll see that password right before you sync your address books and calendars and stuff like that.
Okay. Kind of a follow-on to that, since there was already some code to like present the user with a modal for that email service provider, did you reuse that code or?
Yeah, so that was a big discussion. I think we wanted to try and find a way to have the OAuth show up within Thunderbird versus just like an external like browser modal.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And we didn't get to that work quite yet, but I think it's on the list of, of the things we want as we round out Account Hub. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Nice.
Cool. So in our last office hours, which we will link to in the blog that some of you might have read before you watch this, we talked with Laurel about the new design system and kind of her and her team's role in setting that up, and kind of part of our overall kind of change to go more towards like actual kind of organized processes. So it was really neat to get to talk to her from the design side of that kind of whole change. So what was it like to work with the design team on this from an engineering perspective, though?
Yeah, I mean, it was really new, I think, for the front end team. When Laurel got hired, there was a big overhaul in design processes as you'd want from someone managing your design team. And she did a really, really good job. It was a lot of hard work to get that done and try and also present, like have the mock-ups done for Account Hub, all the work, other work done on services and stuff like that, and still managing to be always interacting with the front end team, syncing about different designs and design systems and stuff like that. So yeah, she did a really good job, all things considered. It's a very hard challenge to do that on top of the normal design work that needs to be done. But yeah, it was an interesting challenge because everyone was just figuring things out, right? And so like I would be figuring out how to properly interact with designs. They would be figuring out how to present their designs, how to present changes, how to tell you about changes. And there was always things constantly changing because everything was just so fresh and new.
Hmm.
But by the end of the year last year, it was all very, very smooth, very easy. The design systems that we used started with the color palette. So
Hmm.
I got introduced with a new color palette, and then once that was implemented, another design system item that we use were the buttons. So you'll start to see those buttons more often around the application, and then hopefully some of the input styles and header styles and link styles will soon be integrated as well. But yeah, there's still a lot of work being done on the design system, and you'll see a lot of changes over the year, I think, which is cool because then everything will look consistent and shiny and nice.
Yeah. And especially since, we kind of have like apps across multiple different platforms now. But it was so neat, like when I saw that slide with the whole team, and it's like, yeah, it's developers and it's designers working together to make this happen and make it not only do what you want it to do and help you do it more efficiently, but also just have that what's becoming this Thunderbird look and feel, which is really nice.
Yeah, for sure.
I have a random question based on what you said. You said testing different input patterns. Was this tested at all with like screen readers? Does it work well with like what
Yeah,
kind of?
so
Mm,
a big part of the development process was trying to make sure that accessibility concerns were taken care of. There's obviously tons of room for improvement, and I'm hoping that anytime anybody interacts with it, if they see these things, they reach out and they file a bug because it is a really high priority for the front end team to make sure accessibility concerns are reached. We did try our best, and we're still working towards making it as accessible as possible, especially for screen
Right.
readers. Lots of constant discussions going on in the front end chat when trying to figure out how to do things in a certain way that allows for screen readers to properly access and use the account hub and other parts of the application. So it is an ongoing thing. We're definitely
Nice.
and it's definitely a high priority. So yeah.
Yeah, cool. So I'm not sure, but was with this overhaul, did performance improve at all by chance? Or was there like just a negligible effect?
Um, I think probably I would say I'm gonna say negligible for now because I haven't measured it. But um, for for just in a coding perspective, the architecture and the structure and the design of the coding system that we built for Account Hub is much cleaner and nicer and easier to add on to and build upon than what we had in our old account setup. I think the old account setup was just one big file. But we're really excited about that. Just because it means that when adding adding the address book part, calendar, and then eventually maybe feeds and other account setups, it's going to be really quick and an easy turnaround. So we're really excited about that. But as for performance, we used a lot of the same backend features as we did before. So
Yeah.
and those functionalities. So there is a lot of work being done on the back end too. So as soon as when they also make the improvements, you'll see the benefits in Account Hub as well. So
Right. So the code's a lot more maintainable, which is really important.
yeah.
So if the initial experience was one big file, once this gets moved to, the main flow for everybody, are you gonna just go delete that file?
Dude, it's somewhere on my
Oh.
to-do list. Well, I think we just want to make sure that everything that we took from account, like the old account setup, works exactly like it did on the Account Hub. So the finger's not on the trigger quite yet. But that would be a fun day, I think, if I get to delete that file.
I mean, version control, right, exists, so
Yeah.
we can always go and be like,
Yeah.
oh, what did we miss if
Oh,
we
whoops,
needed?
that didn't work.
But man, that would feel good. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, just getting rid of that stuff that it's outdated and hopefully no longer needed. So
I
Yeah.
know it's scary to delete old code, but it's something that I think isn't done enough because it's scary.
I think I don't know, it's like 3 or 4,000 lines of code. I don't know. It's a lot of lines of code.
oof.
That
Yeah.
doesn't
Well,
need to be in the app. Just put somebody else's name on the commit just in case it goes wrong. I'm just kidding.
well, this has been recorded for posterity.
That was totally a joke.
No evidence. Yeah, 3,100 lines of code. It's a big file.
My goodness.
Oh, that's a chunky boy. Well,
Yeah, it's hard as a read. But I mean, the Thunderbird was just like build upon build, like you just kept stacking upon things and stacking on things, and there's no ill will or disrespect to anybody that built it. It
no,
Of
works
course,
really
yeah.
well. It works really well, and the code there is consistent and clean. It's just we wanted to break it out and make it a more
Modern.
way to do things. So
Yeah.
exactly. Well, my next question is about what are the features that are left to be added? We know that you mentioned about address books, calendars, and is there perhaps a meta bug on Bugzilla where people can track these features as they land?
Yes, so there's an email meta bug that should be closing relatively soon, unless we get more bugs. And then I think a address book meta bug has been created as well. Um, we're doing we have a bunch of the tasks and work that needs to be done set up on Notion, what we use to track our progress for features. But those will be added to Bugzilla very shortly,
Perfect.
once the work is started. And so the plan is to have address book and calendar done for the end of June, which we're really
Yep.
hoping is it's an attainable goal. So we're really hoping to get that through. There's a lot of work being done on other parts of the app right now, like calendar and stuff, and in-app notifications and stuff like that. So there's been a little bit of delay in getting this started, but we're all really looking forward to moving forward with all the other features in Account Hub.
Excellent. And we will be adding, as we get those meta bugs, we will update the blog post with those. So again, if you came to this video by the blog and you're like, oh, hey, I'd really like to watch that, then we will have those as they're available.
And I would like to point out that we just recently updated the roadmap on developer.thunderbird.net to
Yes.
reflect everything that we're working on for the next year and almost 2 years. And so what you just said is in there as well. And maybe we can add those meta bugs in the roadmap as well so people can find it. That's exciting that you're about to close a meta bug. on
Yeah,
the,
seeing
yeah.
all that list, it's such a giant list of bugs, and like having worked on most of those, it's a feel good moment.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Um, so you kind of touched on this a little bit, that it was slow to get started, but overall, kind of looking back now that you're at the end of the tunnel, more or less, what were some of the major challenges that you encountered, like the redesign, with implementing it? Yeah, overall thoughts there.
I think when it initially started, I maybe underestimated how big of a challenge it might be to just totally present a new architecture and build on top of it. So it led to a slower start. And then when it came to like interacting with the design team and taking designs. It's unfortunate that because it's a side effect of like having these new design systems and all these new things that you want to add, that there was a lot of there was more back and forth than there usually would be when there's a design sync, as people were just kind of getting used to what's working and like, making sure things are being like are right when they hand them off and stuff like that. Um, so you have to wait a little bit sometimes, and it would stall progress a bit. By the end, it was kind of like a mad dash because I really wanted to get it done before the end of the year. So that was a kind of a crazy personal challenge. It was a lot of work over like 2 months. Um, to push forward and try and manage the project, talk to people about what they're working on. It was my first opportunity to really interact with other people on the team, and like delegate tasks, follow up, and that kind of thing, giving me the opportunity to properly lead a project. And that in its own right is a challenge when you're desperately trying to get something done. But once, yeah, I think we'll pass the late fall last year. It was just a lot of like really simple, easy tasks just to polish things up and have it ready to go for this year.
Nice. And then I guess, are you going to be working on the, address book and calendar side of Account Hub as well? Maybe you will have learned some, tricks from the email challenge that will make
Yeah,
those
yeah, for
other
sure.
pieces a little bit easier.
Yeah, I think the address book and calendar, um, yeah, it's just again, it starts with going through the old code, looking at how it works, wondering why someone wrote it this way, even though it works really great. And then trying to translate it onto what we've already built. Um, And I learned a lot on how to properly manage time, get patches up quickly, and like efficiently, so they're reviewed and pushed, and try like make the project sort of go faster. So I think this time around, when the work on address book starts, um, it'll be, I think, a lot smoother experience being the design team and the rest of the front end team. So yeah, very
Nice.
excited. And hopefully the work will start soon. Yeah.
Cool. Cool.
Excellent. Yeah, because June is, it seems far off from now, but it's really not. So
It's
it is
terrifyingly
mildly
close.
terrifying, mildly terrifying. My question was, as we've kind of gotten, the designs out there, as this has been on daily, has there been any kind of useful or any actually just community feedback? Kind of so far, have you gotten a sense of what our community thinks about this?
You know what? No, actually, I'm surprised. I mean, it's still kind of fresh.
Hmm,
We've had
yeah.
one person ask to use it, which is really
Hmm.
cool. It's like it's not even
That's
out
good.
yet, so you have to like go into when you had to go into your preferences and find the proper pref to let you use it as your account setup. But no, not yet. So I'm hoping um, with it like on and set on daily, and I think beta um, for new additional accounts, we'll probably see a lot more interaction
Yeah.
and feedback. I'm curious if there's no feedback, then I'm just assuming that it's doing okay.
It's true that people do tend to be slightly noisier when stuff breaks,
Yeah.
but yeah, so we'll hopefully, because I know we have some really good beta testers out there that once this hits beta, then people will try this and kind of let you know where this works, where still needs a little bit more work.
Yeah, for sure.
Since we've also been, banging the drum about Thunderbird on mobile platforms. Is there any chance that this beautiful account hub will be reused in the mobile space?
Yeah, I don't know. We haven't had those types of discussions. That would be really, really nice, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I won't say no because
right. Yeah.
yeah, currently there hasn't been any discussions about that one. So,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think it would be a real challenge because they are separate code bases,
yeah.
but it would be really nice to see that.
Yeah. And especially since they don't have built-in support yet for calendar and contacts
Right.
on Android, though
Yeah.
people keep asking for it. So who knows? I
We're
mean,
getting
and then
there.
we keep on adding to the team, so which is exciting. We've got all these new people starting soon, which is very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nice to see the team growing.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
definitely kind of like, thinking about like when we were talking during Rust office hours about how some of the work in Exchange for the desktop will be able to help us bring Exchange to mobile too. So,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. There's still a lot of conversations there that we need to have about
Oh, yeah.
how to reuse that Rust code because it is not straightforward. So
Uh,
it's a tricky maze that we'll have
you,
to.
you can't just plug and play. Oh, man.
If
Oh,
only.
This
wouldn't
is
that
good.
be great?
This is your very much less technical perspective going, well, it's easy, surely. Like, well, actually not.
You know what? We just need one more interface layer to like bridge all the platforms. That would be fine. That wouldn't hurt performance at all.
Uh, no, but this,
Um, yeah, I was just gonna say this has been great. And
Well, thank you
thanks,
for having
Vineet.
me. I've been really excited to share this with everyone, and I think it's going to be awesome to have this on the all the channels, on all our newsletter,
mm,
blog, everything, because I'm really
Yeah.
excited for people to start using it and getting excited to
yeah.
into
It's
Thunderbird.
beautiful and slick. I think
Yeah.
slick and Thunderbird have never really been used in the same sentence before like the last few years. And so
Yeah,
it's nice to see, just another aspect of the modernizing effort.
Yeah.
Before
definitely.
we go, do you have I guess any asks of the community to like call to
Oh,
action?
I mean, if you have access to a screen reader and you want to test out the account hub to find
Mm,
bugs, please do, because we want to make sure it's perfect as possible
yeah.
for any accessibility concerns. That's a big one for us, I think. And then, yeah, if not, just give it a go and test it out. I promise you it's nice and easy and simple to use, and hopefully you won't run into any issues. But if you do, please tell me because I will fix them.
Yeah, maybe like really large fonts too and like scaling.
Yeah, we,
Um,
we we did a lot of testing with fonts and density, so most of that should be
nice.
resolved.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but if you
Good.
if you run into it, yeah, again, please put a bug up on Bugzilla and
Yeah.
Excellent. And if you have people who are, when this becomes available on beta, who are testing it there, should they also kind of maybe like open a thread on I think it's the TB beta mailing list?
yep, for sure. I think or maybe UI UX if you want to, just if like if
Okay,
there's some, yeah,
either one.
yeah,
Excellent.
Yeah. We could link to topic box in general and then people can,
yep.
pick one.
We can
Um,
do that.
yeah. Cool. Well, thanks a lot, Vineet, for
Yeah, no
being our
problem.
guest.
Thanks
It's
for
nice
being
to
such
have.
great
Yeah,
hosts.
Yeah. Yeah.
we try.
Yeah, cool. Well, I guess we will end it for now. And but before we go, I can say that the next office hours is currently planned to be with Ryan to talk
Woo.
about kind of MZLA structure and funding and how it relates to MoCo and MoFo and all of these wonderful things that we have kind of talked about before, but it's not an intuitive topic. So everybody, please join us next month to kind of learn more about that.
Right on.
So, all right, thanks.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, bye.
Bye, everyone.